The blind alien girl who kept walking into walls, until a human engineer. Beginning. The first time Rian saw her, he thought it was some kind of cruel prank. He had been stationed on Calvessa Station for 3 months, working in the lower decks where the ventilation systems hissed and the neon lighting flickered with age. Calvessa was a neutral hub, a crossroads of alien civilizations and human colonies. It smelled like oil, fried food, and recycled air. That day, while tightening a conduit pipe, Rian noticed a figure moving clumsily down the corridor. At first glance, she looked like any other Valari, slender frame, silvery hair that glowed faintly, and eyes the color of amethyst. But her movements were wrong. She extended her hands like someone groping in the dark, stumbling into walls, rebounding off metal doors, and colliding with startled passers-by. The girl carried herself with dignity, despite the bruises blooming on her pale skin. And in her trembling hands, she clutched a crudely written sign, scrawled in clumsy galactic standard. Help wanted. The other aliens on the station ignored her, some out of pity, some out of discomfort. Valari were known for their superior senses, especially their sight. Their crystalline eyes could read microscopic scripts and see through dense fog. A blind Valari? That was like a fish who couldn't swim. Rian wiped the grease from his hands and watched her smack her forehead into another bulkhead. He winced. Hey, he called, jogging over. Careful, you're gonna break your skull. She froze, tilting her head toward his voice. Her eyes, though beautiful, were clouded and unfocused. You human? She asked softly. Her accent was delicate, melodic, but hesitant. Last time I checked, Rian said. Name's Rian. You all right? She raised the battered sign like it explained everything. I need help. No one answers me. Rian hesitated. Helping meant responsibility, and he already had too much on his plate fixing ancient machinery in the bowels of the station. But something in the way she held herself, so desperate to appear strong, yet so obviously struggling, stirred him. What's your name? He asked. Leora. She bowed her head. I cannot see. My people left me behind. I only wish to live. That night, Rian couldn't shake her from his mind. Middle. Rian agreed to help her, at first with simple tasks. He guided her through the crowded bazaar where vendors shouted in a dozen languages. He warned her about the uneven grates and the children who darted through the corridors. She listened intently, always whispering thanks in her soft voice. But Rian was an engineer, and engineers solved problems. Watching her stumble made his brain itch with ideas. Leora, he said one evening, after she nearly fell down a service ladder, I could build something for you. Build. She tilted her head curiously. Something to help you move around without smashing your nose every 5 minutes. A navigation aid. I mean, our tech isn't perfect, but... Before he could finish, her hands clasped his. Please. So he began. In the cramped workshop behind his quarters, Rian scavenged parts from old drones, defunct repair bots, and broken comm units. He designed a lightweight exoband that could fit around her temples, connecting to nerve clusters near the Valari visual cortex. The band emitted subtle pulses, translating distances and obstacles into tactile vibrations across her skin. Essentially, he was replacing her eyes with a map of touch and sound. The first prototype was clumsy. When he strapped it to her head and powered it on, she gasped at the buzzing patterns. She staggered, overwhelmed, bumping into the workbench. I am dizzy, she whispered. Too much input. Hang on, I'll dial it back. Over days, then weeks, he refined it. Each failure taught him something new. And through every trial, Leora remained patient. She never complained, even when circuits sparked against her skin. Slowly, she improved. One afternoon, she walked the length of the workshop without colliding with anything. At the end, she turned toward him, her cloudy eyes unfocused but her smile radiant. I felt the room, she said. Not just walls. Space. It is like music I can walk through. Rian's chest tightened with pride. That's the idea. Word of the blind Valari girl spread across the station. Some mocked her, others whispered that she was cursed. But when she strode into the bazaar wearing Rian's latest headset, avoiding every obstacle with graceful precision, people stopped and stared. For the first time, Leora held her head high. But not everyone welcomed her progress. The Valari ambassador, a tall figure draped in crystalline robes, summoned Rian. "You meddle in what you do not understand," the ambassador warned. "The girl was abandoned because she is broken. Among our kind, blindness is a defect that dooms the line. By preserving her, you disrupt our harmony." Rian bristled. "She's not broken. She's brilliant. You just don't want to deal with someone who doesn't fit your idea of perfection. Take care, human. The Valari do not forgive insults." The warning didn't deter Rian, but it planted unease in his mind. Why had her people truly abandoned her? That question was answered one night when alarms shrieked through the station. A Valari warship had arrived without warning, docking aggressively. Their soldiers stormed the promenade, demanding the return of the defective. Leora trembled as Rian hustled her into the maintenance tunnels. "They've come for me," she whispered. "Why? Just because you're blind?" "No," her voice broke. "Because I see something they cannot. Even without eyes." She explained in fragments. Her blindness wasn't natural, it was forced. As a child, she had been marked by an ancient vision, one that showed her a future where the Valari Empire fell to ruin. Her people, terrified of prophecy, burned her sight away with searing light, believing that destroying her vision would silence the future. "But I still feel it," she said, clutching her temples. "The fall, the collapse, the war. They fear me, Rian. Not my blindness, my truth." Climax. The Valari soldiers swept the station, scanning for her. Rian knew hiding her wouldn't work forever. He had to make a choice, hand her over or fight back. But what could one human engineer do against an empire? The answer lay in his creations. He pulled out his latest prototype, an advanced exoband linked with a swarm of microdrones. Each drone emitted sound pulses, building a living map of the surroundings in real time. If Leora could handle it, she wouldn't just navigate, she'd command an awareness sharper than sight. "Leora," he said, fastening the band, "you ready?" Her trembling stilled. She nodded. "Show me." The swarm activated, filling the tunnel with a faint hum. Leora gasped as the world unfolded around her in cascading echoes. I see everything," she whispered. "Every beam, every breath. The soldiers above us, they are 33 steps away." Rian grinned. "Then let's give them a surprise." Guided by her new perception, Leora led him through secret routes only she could sense, predicting patrols and avoiding traps. When they finally confronted the Valari soldiers, she moved with uncanny precision, ducking energy blasts before they were fired, guiding Rian to disable their weapons. The soldiers faltered, unnerved by the blind girl who danced through their attacks like a phantom. At last, she stood before the ambassador. "You try to burn away my vision," she said, her voice resonating. "But I still see. And what I see is a people so afraid of imperfection that they cannot face their future." The ambassador sneered. "You are nothing." "No," she said, her hand resting lightly on Rian's arm. "I am not nothing. I am the future you fear." Ending. The Valari withdrew, humiliated. They could not justify slaughtering innocents on a neutral station, especially after being outmaneuvered by a girl they had deemed worthless. Leora was free, but freedom came with uncertainty. She had no home among her people, and danger still lingered. Rian offered her a place beside him. "I don't know much about destiny," he said, "but I do know machines. And I could use a partner who sees the world in ways I can't." Her smile was luminous. "Then I will stay. Together we will build, not just machines but hope." And so the blind alien girl who once walked into walls became a pioneer. With Rian's help, she refined her abilities, teaching others how to navigate the universe through sound and touch. She was no longer the abandoned outcast, but a bridge between species, a living reminder that imperfection could be the seed of greatness. As for Rian, he no longer saw her as someone broken. To him, Leora was the most complete person he had ever met. And when she reached for his hand, guiding him through the crowded promenade without hesitation. He realized she was leading him just as much as he had ever led her.